We're going to jump into topic number one that we didn't think we'd be talking about, but we've all been living it over the last 24 hours. You know, a good friend, you know, known as Razor Ramon, known as Scott Hall. He was the bad guy, and now he's no longer with us. Tell us your life with Scott and your reaction and how are things going from your end.
I just got back from Ohio, and it was, you know, Kevin was up there, and Scott Steiner Brothers, me, and it was a real big show. And but we had heard up there how Scott was in kind of bad shape, and so, you know, we didn't know that bad of shape, but we had heard, you know, that, you know, he needed a hip replacement and some stuff. But then all of a sudden the news came back as, you know, 3 heart attacks and all that. And then hooked up to the machine to keep him alive. And the news just kept coming, negative. And, you know, I've had more like texts and condolence texts and stuff. You got to realize, first of all, the world has my number because I've shared it so many times with, you know, right, on cameos and stuff like that with people that had problems and stuff. Well, they would just hit my heart so much that I would say, look, you know, hey, give me a call, bro. You know, if you have a problem. I mean, so I deal with a lot of crazy stuff. Even fans that are, you know, not really crazy, but they're fans. So it's ringity ding ding ding. You know, maybe sometimes at 2 a.m, but I turn my phone off.
Good deal. Sometimes people don't understand that balance, right? They don't understand that there's kind of like a divide.
And they'll do stuff like, hey, just wanted to see what was up. And I said, let me tell you what's up, bro. I just been mugged and you know, mugged to the 3rd degree, and I don't got time to do this talk right now. And like, they'll get hot. They'll get mad at me. They'll say, hey, look, man, don't get rough on me. I was just calling to check on you. I said, well, bro, there's times that, you know, you should know that there's times that I don't even know who you are, bro. I'm just trying to be nice by answering the phone. I said, call Scott Steiner and see if you, and try to talk to him. I said,
that one.
he don't call me back. I said, he does what he wants to do, and I love it. I said, Scott Steiner is one of my biggest fans. I love him. I said, I love Scott Steiner. So
we're going to be talking about Scott today. Actually, you read my mind. We didn't ever go over the topic list because the deal that Buff and I have is we're just going to jump into stuff. And he goes, let's freewheel it. But Scott is on the list. Don't worry.
That's great.
But your phone is blowing up with Scott. People checking in.
Yeah, just really, man. I mean, unbelievable. Like, I mean, me and Hall, really, to be honest with you, and to be honest with all the fans out there, really were not ever super tight. He always reached out to help me or to tell me stuff like, I mean, remember the boots I wore with wrestling? They were kind of like over my tights and big. Well, like that came from Scott Hall because
like they were his boots or he got them for you?
No, it was just his idea. And then I went out and found the boot. And I knew boots were going to be a big part of this business, period, because the first time that anybody ever saw wrestling and saw Sting's boots, everybody was going to try to be, have boots like Sting. And all Sting's boots are the motorcycle racing, the speed, the crotch rocket motorcycle racing, the kind that go down there to their knee in the curves and all that, the real, 200-mile-an-hour motorcycle stuff. Well, that's where you took them from. Okay. That's all those boots are motorcycle racing boots, but not Shawn. Now, Shawn Michaels are like motocross racing boots. And believe me, I know all this because at the age of 20 years old, I was trying to find a boot that was cooler than Sting and was cooler than Shawn Michaels. And that was very hard to do with guys that are as cool as Shawn Michaels and as cool as Sting. That's very hard to do.
Right.
At different levels. So I tore into trying to find a different boot because of Scott Hall. He said, look, bro, you got small calves. He said, I've always had small calves. He said, so you're going to have to come up with a different something down here to balance how big you are up here. And so that's when I came up with those boots. Those boots are actually called cavalry boots. And they're called that because they were from the cavalry. And you know how my boots, they come and then they have a little patch that go over your knee.
Right.
Well, that's from when, think about being on horseback with your knees bent. That leather was to protect your knees.
Oh, okay.
And that's why they're called cavalry, because they're from the U.S. cavalry when the armies were fighting the Indians as the U.S. cavalry. They had those kind of boots, but they actually quit making them. And I still got one. I got a pair right now at home that are brand new painted that are ready to go. And then I had the car wreck and then COVID. So I haven't had a chance to wear them, but that's why I'm at Dallas Page's now. And I'm at the
accountability crib
and just had to land from the Ohio thing and come straight to my deal, which is both my doctor that did my surgery and their doctor here at the crib think that I need to be in the hyperbaric chamber.
Okay.
And Dallas has one.
I've heard of celebrities that keep that on site because they use it and it helps for rejuvenation and healing.
But it's a much bigger deal than I knew.
Yes.
And now that I've learned about it, and now that I've done it yesterday,
yes,
there's no doubt about this thing. This is a big deal. The problem is, it's $200 a visit.
Right.
And I asked the guy as soon as I got out of it, I said, bro, I go, how much does that cost? And he goes, $200 a visit. And I was like, is there any way you could get that down a little bit? If you got that, Dallas has already got him hooked to this show, and the guy that owns the place is letting us do it to get the advertisement and stuff from this show, and Buff Bagwell and Dallas Page using his, because see, Dallas's only allows half the oxygen you can get at this place. And I didn't know how big a deal it was. I thought it was just, you got in this machine and turned it on like a tanning bed. It ain't like that, bro. This is like a medical doctor has got to work the oxygen the right way into this tube that you are closed into.
Sounds very intense.
It's very intense, bro.
Yes.
But when I came out of it, if I could have had a camera there to instantly cut a commercial for this, I could have made this guy an overnight millionaire. That's how much of a difference it made into my leg. One visit, bro.
That's from one visit.
I came out of that bed.
Yes.
And if I could have had a camera on me, if then it gave me 2 minutes to throw my hat on and a pair of sunglasses, I could have cut an interview and a commercial for this guy that he would have been an overnight sensation millionaire. Amazing. And I just ain't had time to talk to Dallas about it, but because I go back tomorrow to the bed again. And that's the catch, though. As bad as my situation is, the more you can do it, the better.
I hear you.
You got to realize there's people that don't have $1,000 a week.
Nope. Very few are able to.
But at the same time, let's talk about one visit, $200. Bro, I got a pedicure the other day that was 50.
I remember you talking about your haircuts, how much your haircuts are, buddy.
$110 right? To cut my hair.
Buff Bagwell doesn't go to $15 haircuts, folks.
Bro, it's unbelievable. Matter of fact, the first place I went, I may have said this, was to the hair salon. I've told the guys that it's 40 something years he's been in business.
Yes.
It's called 313 Salons, and it's in Marietta, Georgia. And the guy's been in business 40 something years. And his name's Lester. And
okay. Shout out to Lester.
He's the first person I went to when I got released from the WWF. And I said, bro, I wanted to tell you I won't be coming back. And he was like, what do you mean? I go, bro, I've been fired. I said, they're trying to call it released. I said, but let me tell you, I've been fired, period. And I said, so, he goes, well, don't worry about it. We'll just take care of you. Keep in mind, I've been going there 34 years. So, but he's been taking care of me probably 20. So half and half, roughly. But I go to anything he wants, any kind of signings or he's had 3 heart replacements. I mean, what do they call them? Heart
transplants.
Transplants.
Yeah.
He's had 3 of them because they're only good for 10 years.
Unbelievable.
He's had 3 successful ones.
Yeah.
So he's healthy as a horse, bro, and he's had 3 of them.
That's where he goes.
He raises money and stuff for the Heart Association and all that. So long story short, yeah, man, it's not $200 isn't that bad.
No.
All considerations thinking about,
How old would you say Lester is?
He's definitely 50 something. I mean, maybe in the low 60s.
And I presume he wasn't a professional wrestler or an athlete. He wasn't there.
No, absolutely not. Matter of fact, he was just the owner and creator of the best salon I've ever seen in my life.
But this man, he survives 3 transplants, and Scott has 3 heart attacks. And, life is so funny that way. You never, ever know.
You don't, bro. You just don't.
To sum up on Scott, because, again, it is all very fresh. We just found out this, as we're taping it, it's 24 hours since he was on life support and then taken off. Favorite Scott Hall memory? Also, the first time you ever met him, do you recall that?
Yeah, that's a good question. First time meeting him. Gosh, I can't believe I don't know I can't remember the first time meeting him.
You have a photographic memory. You remember things from birth.
Yeah, I do.
Like. I finally stumped Bump. Wow.
You actually did, believe it or not. But he, I can tell you just from timing, it was, you got to realize we saw him show up to our show kind of like the fans did. We didn't know he was going to be coming to our show. And
so you didn't know him before that? You had never met the guy before the whole Invasion, Outsiders, NWO?
He was at WCW before I got there. And when I came in to WCW, he was going to be the Razor Ramon at Vince's.
Oh, so the first time around when he was the Diamond Stud, right?
Right. I never really met the Diamond Stud. By the time I got to WCW, the Diamond Stud was, like almost exactly the same time he was rolling to be Razor Ramon at Vince.
And his manager at the time was?
Diamond Dallas.
And when he came to the ring as a Diamond Stud, what was his, you remember his catchphrase?
I don't.
He'd pull out his arms and said, "It's stud time." That was
I don't remember that. I didn't know that.
The Diamond Stud.
All I remember is seeing a picture of him.
Yes.
And not believing it was him. Really, truly, I said.
I watched him. I was a big Diamond Stud fan. He was the real deal.
No way, that's Scott Hall.
Yep.
And this is Buff Bagwell, jacked up, ripped, all that. And I said, there's no way that's Scott Hall. No way.
So before he was even a Diamond Stud, he was in the AWA with that mustache, the porn stash, and he was a Magnum TA guy. Yeah, he had that He had the stash.
That's the first picture I ever saw of him that I was able to go, who's that guy? And hear who it was, and me go, you've got to be kidding me, you know? And so, I had no idea he looked like that. No idea, you know?
So it's funny because, you know, Dallas, the evolution of Dallas as a wrestler, you know, we all knew him originally as a manager, and the whole gimmick was he was Diamond Dallas Page, and his protege was the Diamond Stud, hailing from the Diamond Mine. That's where he was from, and it was stud time, and that was his whole shtick. And then he leaves WCW. He goes over to WWF. I understood he made his own creation with the gold chain and the toothpick, and he became Razor Ramon. He had all those vignettes that everybody loved him for, right? And the man was a performer. You know, he was a trailblazer. I wasn't sure in which incarnation, if you knew him at any point in those stages, but the second time he came back to WCW, that was the first time you met him.
That's right. In other words, literally, if we said Razor Ramon or Diesel, our company got fined $10,000.
Right.
So it was like, actually, I remember seeing papers in each locker room that said, "Hey, look, if you say this, you're costing our company $10,000, and then we'll have to fine you something." So you didn't hear the word Diesel or the word Razor Ramon backstage, because Vince owned that. And I can remember literally like giving high fives on us beating Vince again and again, and we knew it wasn't good that we were beating Vince like that, because we knew there had to be at least two. So in front of Eric, we had to act like, yeah, but really we were going, no.
You don't want to anger the monster.
No, and then of all things, stuff like he came out with the fake Razor and fake Diesel, and when Vince did that, I knew his back must have been up against the wall, because I can't see Vince doing something so silly and so dumb.
And you think about where Kane's career went, but he started off as Isaac Yankem, the evil dentist, and then he was fake Diesel, and he survived fake Diesel. If you were to WWF at the time and you were offered the roles of fake Razor or fake Diesel, would you have taken them? Would you have had a choice, you think?
Yeah, it's like when I did the Handsome Stranger. I thought it was the corniest, hokiest, pokiest, thing in the world. But you don't say that. You just
the role.
Yes, sure, right? Thank you, and you roll with it.
Yeah.
And then believe it or not, I get it back to me years later, and didn't really know, because that's how wrestling worked, that by me not hearing anything about the Handsome Stranger, if I would have known what I knew about wrestling when I was the Handsome Stranger, I would have known that meant that it was a cool angle. It was a cool gimmick.
But it was a memorable gimmick.
I took it, not hearing anything about it, as the way I felt about it. It was a little bit hokey pokey-ish, and I got this flimsy little mask on that could be easily taken off.
Yeah.
I took it like that, and instead, years later, I started hearing how great it was and how many people loved the Handsome Stranger, and how cool it was to be the Handsome Stranger. And so I was like, what? You actually like that gimmick? So I didn't really know what I knew about wrestling then, or I would have known that by not hearing anything meant it was a pretty cool gimmick.
You know what? Sometimes the corniest gimmicks in wrestling are the best ones. But that being said, when they did come back as the Outsiders, did you ever rib Diesel for being Vinny Vegas? Did you ever rib Razor Ramon of being the Diamond Stud? Did that ever come up?
No, you don't. You don't rib guys that got over like Razor Ramon. You don't rib guys like think about this.
Yes.
I used to beat Vinny Vegas on a regular basis. You just don't talk about stuff like that because he became Diesel, and that don't matter no more that you beat him as Vinny Vegas. He's Diesel, bro, and now look at his line and look at yours.
That's
so
true, man.
There is no making fun of stuff like that. You just congratulate him and go, way to go, brother.
Most people can't even make it to the point of Vinny Vegas, let alone Diesel, let alone Scott Hall. But
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Kevin Nash. Ultimately, do you think that that Scott Hall be most remembered as Scott Hall or as Razor Ramon or both?
That's tough, man. I think Scott Hall, because it was just last. He'll always be remembered, man, as Razor Ramon, bro. And that was just, hey, yo, it was just his gimmick, and he could talk just like Tony Montana, and
loved it.
And it was a good gimmick, and the way he did the gimmick and the shook and the chains and the toothpick and the flick it in your face. And
God, I loved when he took off the gold chains and he handed it to the valet as he was getting in the ring, and he goes, "Something gonna happen to this chain. Something's gonna happen to you."
Yeah,
that was just classic. So he's up there smiling right now. He's missed, and like you're saying, even though you weren't as close to him as, let's say, as Scott Steiner per se, it's great that he still touched your life, right? Like,
and I said, and they made impressions for me that helped me. I mean, told me about the way, because I was in such great shape back then. He would tell me to open it up and to hit the double bicep a certain way, and just to work on my poses, and to level my body out by making my calves look bigger with a different boot. Made my body look so, because I had such great quads, but no calves, that balanced me as a figure and made my body look totally different. And it helped me a zillion % in the ring, look much better. And so I found the right boot, but it was because of Scott Hall, Before that, me and as the American males, it was the tights that came down, a little bitty ankle on top of our boots, and then all of a sudden we came down and kept it kind of big, and made our bodies look much better.
Thank you for enjoying today's episode of the Chosen Life podcast. Go ahead and hit the subscription button below and the notification bell to catch all of our great shows. And remember to contact the Chosen Lawyers when you are ready for your next real estate and commercial transaction. Go to kormans.ca.